Yes. Great. Check, check, check. Are we hearing any? Can we see me on the TV? Yes? Great. All right, those of you over here might want to be over here. I'm going to show some stuff on the screen. Just for our purpose, but hello, we're recording. We're here in studio. And welcome, welcome. Speaking, no one's here yet, so that's fine. Cross-listed, so I record all of this. It will go up on the thing, but I did want to show everybody something to start with. So let's go here and let's watch first. Can we strike the lights, please?
Hi, this is Noah with Ftve News.
Thank you kindly. We'll start with this and then sound. Where's sound? Sound. There we go. And we want to do this one. All right.
Hi, this is Noah with Ftve News. I'm interviewing people on the Gavilan campus. How long have you been a student here at Gav?
I've been here for over 3 years.
Hey, wait. Hold on a second. Guess what? I realized I didn't share it for Zoom, so we got to do that first, okay? No one's on the Zoom, but people at home who might be watching this, I should remember to do that just because, right? You just watch me sit there for a little bit, right? And you just looked at my face. Yeah. That happens sometimes. Okay, share sound. Okay, sure. All right, but we'll do our best. Let's start over. This is Ftve News, which you filmed last week.
Hi, this is Noah with Ftve News.
And now it's not playing through the right thing again, but that's all right. Third time's the charm. We'll make it work. All right. All right, there's a picture of garlic. Enjoy. All right, there we go.
Hi, this is Noah with Ftve News. I'm interviewing people on the Gavilan campus. How long have you been a student here at Gav?
I've been here for over 3 years. I go to the high school here at DECA, so I've been doing a role here at Gav.
Right on. What's your major? What interests you?
I'm going to be majoring in business marketing. That's just what I'm interested in, is trying to get a message out there and like see how you can best promote an idea or a product. I just find it really interesting here.
Right on. And what facilities here do you like on campus?
I mean, I think like a lot of like the library is honestly really nice to like work in. It's pretty quiet. It's, when like after school, if you're waiting for somebody to pick you up, just really like soothing to just sit there and work. And then the student center also is really nice. They also have the cafeteria there. So yeah, I really just enjoy having those. Like good place to pass time.
Very good answers. And the last thing I'll ask is, what would you like to be on campus in the future?
What would I like it? I guess like some more places like drinks would be cool. Like I know they already have like sodas and occasionally a mango smoothie, but it'd still be nice to get something else to drink. Like I don't really know what they could do, but maybe if they partnered with something, that'd be nice to have something else, like more refreshments.
How long have you been a student at Gav?
This is going to be my second year. I'm a sophomore.
Right on. What's your major or focus?
Allied health, and I'm going to be a nurse eventually.
Right on. That's awesome. What kind of facilities do you use here at Gav, or do you like the most?
I like the library most because I think there's a lot of like nooks and crannies to sit in and hide in and work for a couple hours.
I very much agree. What would you like to see on Gavilan campus in the future?
Maybe more seating areas, like outdoors. Yeah, like I feel like some of the spots are a little dirty, especially if you want to sit down and eat.
Absolutely. And I think we have so much like beautiful green and grass space. It would be cool to make more of that. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you have a wonderful day. And what's your major?
In college, I want to do psych, but I'm thinking of doing, right now for my AA, I'm doing computer science and natural science.
Right on. Any focuses in natural science?
Not just like the more medical side of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. What kind of facilities do you like to use here again?
I like using the student center and library.
Right on. And what would you like to see on the Gavilan campus in the future?
I really like the events that you guys do, so maybe like more events would be pretty cool.
How long have you been with Gavilan or at Gavilan?
For about 2 years. Yeah.
Right on. What's your major?
I study software engineering.
Sweet. That's awesome. What kind of facilities do you use here at Gavilan? What kind of programs are you with?
I mostly take advantage of like the STEM Center and the Math Lab and the Mesa Center as well, like all that tutoring that they can offer. That's been really essential to my, career here at Gavilan. It's been really a core part of my, experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. We have great tutoring facilities, so that you're taking advantage of them. What would you like to see on Gavilan campus in the future?
Maybe just more like expansion of student life, more like opportunities for students to connect and other ways like that. I think that would be really interesting. And I think that could be really beneficial because I think one part about community college is sometimes there is like a lack of community. I mean, I've been able to find community within like, the STEM Center and Math Lab, which I'm really, grateful for, but I feel like not all students, are able to take that leap and, connect with other students. So if there's more opportunities, I think that could really benefit the campus and students overall.
Yeah. Very, very good answers. Thank you so much, Cole.
Check the lights, please. Where was Jason? Okay. All right, everybody. Here, I'm going to turn this around so I can talk. Okay. So first and foremost, for the people who are new to the program or new to the class, wow. Dude. Oh my God. That's a mega ka-chow for sure. We can see those. Yeah, we can all see them right here, right? Yeah, right there. Great. Okay, great. Sorry, I love Crocs. I'm impressed with the Crocs so far. Okay, got distracted 100%. Brain restarting. Okay. First and foremost, everyone who's new to the program or old to the program, someone take a seat. Reminder to everyone that we are going to watch a lot of stuff, including stuff that we participated in, created, and worked on. And we are going to offer constructive criticism. So what does that mean? That means it's going to be thoughtful criticism, which could include maybe a compliment sandwich if we know that as well. But basically, there is good and bad criticism. What's an example of bad criticism, Jason?
It sucks.
It sucks. Okay. Hey, that sucked.
It's boring.
It might, well, okay, boring is a better thing, but it sucks.
Oh, it's horrible.
It's horrible. Yeah, terrible job.
It needs to be better.
It needs to be better. Okay, those are all examples of bad criticism. Now I'm going to tell you, you're welcome. Anything that I present to you that I worked on, that myself, you can criticize negatively. But other students' work, especially things we've worked on together, we're never going to criticize that. Why? Because telling someone that's horrible or it sucks isn't valuable. How does that make me better? Maybe as an artist, I'm like, yeah, I think it does suck. Thanks for telling me exactly how I felt about it, but why? I mean, see, there's no why to it. So what would be a constructive criticism? Jason, do you have an example of constructive criticism? Or somebody have an example of a constructive criticism they want to share? It could be better if you did blank. Yeah. Hey, that was good. I think you could maybe you could try this. Or I think it might be better if in the future you shot the thing in focus. Like maybe that would be it. So I showcased our first Ftve news up here. For what reason? I did it because I wanted to show everyone. If you go to, of course, that's the video that Noah and how many people worked on that video? Yeah. So we worked on the video. We went out. We interviewed people on the campus, and it was come on in, grab a seat. Well, just know that any GavTV news that we produce, if you go to gavilan.edu and you don't click the two links, that the whole reason that we ever go to this website. But if you scroll down right here, hey, look, GavTV News has a little thing. All our videos that we produce in this class will end up on our GavTV News channel and be right there. Did you know about that? Yeah, absolutely. And then it'll take you to our YouTube channel, and it gets embedded. The campus gets to see it. We get some amount of views. where we might get, if you really want to give a negative comment, go on YouTube and say that sucked or whatever. But that being said, all of our videos here, we are going to be learning how to be advanced content consumers, and we are going to look at these videos through a critical lens. So, who here wants to critique what we just watched? Good or bad? And if you want to offer bad, you can say like, well, I like this, or I think this could have been better. Yes, Daniel shot it. Daniel.
Hi, this is Noah.
What
Hi, this is Noah with Gav.
do you have a critique? Good or bad? You didn't like how it kept zooming in. So, the movement of the camera, you didn't like. Great. Okay, well, so we were doing, this is like a person on the street interview. So we're going with our interviewer and going and interviewing people. Okay, there was a lot. I like this piece a lot. I think this piece is effective. I think it's a good 3 minutes of campus life. I did the editing, and you were talking about the zooming in. What's zooming in per se? We're just
TV News. I'm interviewing people
sorry,
on.
hold on. You were okay. So this is a great thing to note as the yeah, does it have batteries? Turn it down so you can talk over it. Notably, it's handheld, correct? Yeah, should be handheld. So that means the camera is. Do we have our Sony over here? Maybe not. John will actually put it away. So hold on a second. Okay, sorry about that. So we shot this on one of our Sony cameras. We have 3 types of cameras that we'll shoot on. We'll go over this in future class, just getting to know, familiar with this. Of the cameras that we have, what caliber of quality would you consider this one? That caliber. This is shot, this is what this looks like when you shoot outside with this camera, handheld. What's the resolution? 720. Look, we can go to 4K. Yeah. So the shot, I think it's up-res to 4K. This is probably 1080. 1920 by 1080 is frame size. That's standard HD definition. I don't, oh, this shoots on 4K. So maybe it was shot on 4K.
It depends on the speed of that SD card.
Depends on the speed of the SD card. We'll explain what that means in the future. But so our camera right here. Now let me tell you something about a camera like this. This is definitely a prosumer camera. That means it's a higher grade camera than what a a novice, a consumer would get. Prosumer means it's a little bit higher than what industry standard would be. This camera is probably 10, 12, 15 years old at this point. Still pretty good. What makes this above level camera is it's got a built-in zoom lens. You can't take the lens off, unfortunately. That's one of the negative elements about it. But what makes this better than most consumer cameras is this feature right here. It doesn't have its windsock on it, but it has XLR inputs. XLR is the audio input that most professional grade audio is going to plug into. XLR, you'll note, here's the female part of it. It has 3 holes. Okay, we'll look at our cables in the future. But most notably, I can take out my XLR. That's the male version of the cable. You can see the 3 pins going to the 3 holes. That is an XLR cable. So this is an XLR mic that plugs into the camera, allows you to get input. It also has another input, so you can plug in another microphone. So what we were able to do is not only capture audio from the camera, we were able to plug in the XLR microphone, which is the microphone that Noah is holding, the stick interview microphone, which is really directional. You have to hold it to your mouth, and then when you want someone to talk, you have to go up and hold it up to their mouth in order to hear them. This is good if you're randomly buzzing up to somebody, but it was different than our sit-down interview, right? Where we put the lavalier microphones on our subjects sitting here in class. Okay, any questions or comments so far? What's notable about this, and to speak to Daniel's critique of the video, is when you hand hold a camera like this, you can see I'm using the strap, I'm holding it in. It has a fair amount of weight. In the lab today, you're all going to be able to hold this camera and feel what it feels like. In fact, I'd like you all to do that. What I recommend, though, is a camera like this. You all put your hands up like this and you try to hold still for the 2 to 5 minutes that each one of these videos are. How still can you make it be? Well, right? Just one hand right there makes it really shaky. So what can we do to make our video less shaky? Put on sticks. All right, sticks is a nickname for a tripod. We have a tripod right here. Why would this make it more stable? It is a piece of equipment that doesn't move, doesn't breathe. Even if you're like the most still person in the world, right? American Ninja Warrior or whatever, you still breathe and have a heartbeat. And those things can give you a little bit of a wobble. Or if you do one of those survivor challenges where you have to put your hand up the whole time, that's a thing about it too. So if we have a tripod available, do we have a tripod available that day? Wait, we were on campus where all the equipment is, and there's a tripod like right here that we could have taken out there. So was there a tripod available? Yes, okay. So why didn't we use a tripod?
Because the legs are all.
The legs are all janky. I mean, there's like 10 tripods, but I understand. There's no critique. I think the video is fine. If it was too bad, I wouldn't have put it out. But there's always learning opportunities. If you have the opportunity to use a tripod in a situation like this, where you can say, "Hey, we want to do an interview. Can you hold on a second?" You move it and you put it on the tripod. It's going to give you a lot more flexibility, not only in the interview, but also in the editing piece. Because I don't know if you noticed, but I made some edits in this. I did what? I punched in. Editors, what does a punch in mean? I'll show you a good example. Yeah, I punched the monitor because I was so mad Daniel didn't use a tripod. No, a punch in is basically in my editing software, I cropped in the image so this image right here became, all right, all of you should know because Sunday you're turning in your framing exercises. What type of shot is this? Medium, right? It's a medium. Maybe navel, it's a little in between a medium close-up, and I would call it a medium, right? But guess what? This is just this shot. So this is just this shot, and all I did in the editing software was I zoomed in and I cropped out the rest of the area because we didn't have two cameras. Remember, we shot our interview in the studio with two cameras so that we could cut back and forth and hide edits. And maybe I hit a stumble or something. Or like this shot is interesting too because how's the framing in this shot? Bad? Why that? Yeah, Noah's head's cut off, right? And sometimes it could be cut off, but like Noah's, especially in a shot like this with two shots. Now we have our vertical, remember our vertical thirds. So Noah's on the left and our interview subject's on the right. That's decent. The problem is now we need to think about our horizontal thirds. So realistically, Noah's eyes should have been probably on the upper third, right? And this was a harder shot to shoot because Noah's very tall and the subject's very small. So then wherever your other person is, it's not like you have to get them on the lower third, but you want to compose it so that she's definitely not on a third and he's not on a third, right? She's kind of center smoothies, and Noah is. They're on the upper third's kind of chin where the microphone is. So we would have done it. This is just a pause. Maybe if we hit play, it kind of okay, a little bit better. Gets a little bit better. But that being said, we're always thinking about framing in all situations. Okay, so then I did the punch in to hide and edit, which is fine when you're editing in something like this. What else did we notice about this piece? What will we change? What could be better? Lots of learning opportunities. There's no wrong answers. What? This is we can just hit play random. What else could we change in the future? Maybe what do we think?
The spots are a little dirty, especially if you want to dive deep.
Absolutely. I think we have so much like super green grass space. Absolutely. What would you like to see?
Okay, this is one of my favorite parts. What do we notice about this? Yeah.
I don't know specifically what you're talking about, or I don't even know how much this is in our control, but his hair, like the lighting on it, kind of is.
So his hair is what's called blown out. So when our image gets blown out, it means that there is too much light hitting Noah's hair right here. Because we're outside and the sun is the biggest source of light, it is going to be super strong. So how do we control for this? What will we do? What could we do to make this better? Nick. Flip them on the other side. We could, maybe we could have. Looking at the light though, we can see that there are some hot spots here on our subject.
Like they're facing this way.
Flip them around.
Yeah.
And see. Yeah, really, if we're shooting outside and we're getting an area where like, okay, our subject in the frame is being blown out, maybe we should find a better location that has shade, has, what was this situation? Where are you filming? I mean, the lighting is pretty decent. Their faces are decent. It's just, is Noah too tall and getting into the sun, or Noah's also fair-haired, so that could be an issue. Sometimes we have to adjust our lighting based on our subjects. No offense to me, but like when you deal with people with less follically inclined heads, sometimes you have to worry about shine, right? Glasses are for sure an issue that'll come up. So that's something to think about. If we went out and we brought a silk, who knows what a silk is? You have a silk right here?
It's on the window.
It's on the window?
I think it's.
We use the silk to help control the light.
A silk or a diffusion? We can't really see it, I don't think. Okay, you can see here's some diffusion right here, or it looks like we talked about this. Let's just turn this around. So this is like a diffusion. So diffusion basically is a translucent. Lucent, is that right? Someone got me last semester, makes me nervous about saying these words. It was opaque. Someone got me with opaque. But it's translucent, so really you can see my skin through the image. So light shoots through it, it makes the light softer. So if we're doing that outside and we have really big square silks that you can put in front of a person, it can soften the sunlight. So it's just not so bright. So this combination light, and we can see that like sometimes outside, you're going to be dealing with combination light. We can see that right here and all the way up there. Sometimes outside, can we put a silk everywhere? No, not necessarily. But can we work with there's something in our camera too that we could adjust, which is putting on an ND filter. And an ND filter is called neutral density filter. It's kind of like putting sunglasses on your lens. We'll talk more of that when we play with natural cameras. But just know that's a Bryce, that was a good thing to point out. What I really wanted to point out though is, okay, so didn't you use tripod? Was this on manual focus or autofocus? So the camera here, what's in focus in this shot, everybody? Where's the hard line of focus? Silas. Your plug's favorite plug. All right, that's what the shirt says, right? When I was watching this piece, they're soft, which means they're slightly out of focus, right? They're slightly out of focus as compared to this depth of field over here.
I think the camera went down, a stop down a little bit, but it should have been closer to the
I feel like some of the spots are a little dirty, especially if you want to sit down.
So what's cool about this camera here, yeah, so our aperture and our ND filter is going to affect how much is in focus. And a camera lens like this is designed, the one that's built in here, is trying to give you as much depth of field as possible. What does that mean? A narrow depth of field means that if we have the narrow depth of field, we could make it so only knowing the interview subject was in focus and everything else was blurry. You ever see an image where everything is blurry? That's a narrow depth of field. But a wide depth of field means that everything is in focus. And kind of this shot was everything was in focus, so much so that I feel like we were chasing our focus, which made me wonder, was the autofocus on or off? Now, we just looked to see. Probably wasn't, I'm guessing, because it wasn't chasing. I wanted to see if it was moving. Because if it's autofocus, autofocus is a technology that your camera can have. And that basically is a mode so that we have two rings on our camera. One is a zoom ring, one is a focus ring. Focus is what's in focus. We're looking at the viewfinder or the eyepiece for us as the photographers to make sure everything's in focus, because that's what's critical. As storytellers, even what is in focus is, as us, the decision makers, we can choose to be like, hey, this should be in focus and that shouldn't be in focus. And that is a narrative telling device. So that's a choice we can make. In an interview like this, our subject should be the primary focus and everything else should be secondary. Even if we have an infinity depth of field where everything is in focus. And the more light you have, the more light the more likely everything will be in focus, the less light, the more you can control singular focus. Does that make sense to everybody? You can use autofocus in this class until halfway, and then I'll be mad. Autofocus is a fine way to learn if you're not feeling confident with focus. But I will challenge you all. Auto everything, like our phones, is really not making a choice at all. It's letting the computer choose for you. When our goal is by the end of class, you pick up a camera, turn off all the auto features because you want to control the white balance, the exposure, the lighting, all of that fun stuff. We'll talk about it more. We're going to play with cameras at the end of when we go into our lab. Okay. Everything we do is a learning tool. I noticed the soft focus. Any other critiques we want to put on this video? How long was it? How long was the video? Does it say it up there? Good. 5 minutes? How long was it? 3:46? You saw it? Okay. Well, okay, so it was 3:46 and Nick thought it was 5 minutes. Is that good? Is that good? If you didn't have to watch this video, would have you gone to the next video, skipped it? Yeah? How come?
Interview's too slow.
Interview's too slow. Yeah. How could we improve it?
Well, they set it up better, having more cuts than naturally leading to the next cut, so that it has a better pace. Have one cut that's continuous, it's just gonna be stale.
Yeah, and so there are some edits that cut things in and out. I think that it could have had it could have been more tighter edited. That's a good note. And that's just like cutting out some things that are redundant. But I thought it's a fair representation for 3 minutes and 30 seconds or 3:47, whatever John said. It's a decent piece. It was a good job, and overall, we're going to learn from it. So that being said, we're going to be watching a lot of our GAV-TV stuff and learning from it, as well as all of you are responsible for a GAV-TV news. So working on it or producing it. For example, the El Centro piece, I've already started editing it. In fact, we can take a look for our edit. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, editors, you should know what this means. It means I unplugged my camera. All right. I think the whole Zoom too would have just been me standing there talking and not the screen. So that would be pretty good too. All right. All right. So let's go into our Premiere editing software right now. And notably, we're going to just talk about this for a little bit. And we can see that I'm just going to link my media, which is all offline right now. I'm going to tell it to locate. It's going to find all the media. And now we should be back online, hopefully. All right, maybe not. All right, we probably need to go here. Let's do this one. Say okay. All right, that one's back online. All right, there we go. Here's our Ruth interview. And let's do our audio right here. Oh, and I turned it down. Thank you. Well, not doing anything currently. So let's take a look. All right, that's playing there. But in Premiere, I'm going to go into my settings here and say audio hardware. And then in my audio hardware, it is looking to go through my headphones, which I was listening to, but we want it to go through the HDMI. Okay. Let me sit here. Okay, so we should be able to take a look at this now.
like a place for students to get housing support, food, like necessities. In addition, we also provide like small things like mini grants, laptop loans, if you need an emergency car for gas or for Safeway, those are usually what we do.
Okay. So we can see that the piece we shot here in the studio, let's take a look at it right there. You can see what it ended up looking like. Ended up pretty good. We did have a recording issue with this. The main camera was recorded at 25 frames per second for some reason, but that's okay. I retimed it, so it all worked out good. But for the most part, now what's interesting, editors, is I'm using a multi camera sequence. So if I do one or two, in theory, if I do one or two, okay, there we go. In one or two, we can jump back and forth between the two edits. So if we wanted to make an edit, we could go here. Let's watch.
So I have to come back home. What a lot of people don't know is that my
Okay, so I'm going to make an edit and an edit. Let's just do a random edit. And now I can go in here and, all right, there we go. So now when we're watching the piece,
is that my home was a very
Oh.
toxic, very, abusive. I have to come back home. What a lot of people don't know is that my home was a very toxic, very,
so we have these two different angles. What does that allow us to do? Hide mistakes, yeah. Or we could edit out stuff. We could edit Ruth to be like, oh, what they say at the first minute is great, and what they say at the last minute is great, but the 12 minutes in between, not so good. So we cut out those 12 minutes and sign them together, and then we go from one angle to another instead of making a jump cut. Because what we're trying to avoid is a jump cut here. And let me show you what a jump cut looks like. All right, I just made an edit. Let's watch our jump cut.
and I enjoyed LA for a year, but short little FAFSA basically determined. that
Okay,
I
so what
was-
happened? So that's what's called a jump cut. A jump cut is an edit where we basically is probably the most noticeable edit out there. And our goals as editors is to make as seamless edits as possible. So that means it kind of flows. What we're trying to do with filmmaking and content creation is we're trying to do this thing that's called suspension of disbelief. We're trying to get our audience members to forget that they're watching a video and be dive deep into the content that we're creating. So for example, we want our audience members to want to be learning about Belt Central, which is the organization that we're doing the interview about. But when we have something that suspends our disbelief, what that does is it reminds us we're watching a movie, we're watching a TV show, we're watching something that's not real, we're watching something that's edited. So a jump cut is a bad edit where the person just jumps from one subject to another. That is a way to break a suspension of disbelief. In filmmaking or TV, do any of you know something that would suspend your disbelief when you're in a movie theater? What breaks you out of watching the movie? Yeah.
Not necessarily from like the camera production side of things, but like when a character just survives something that's completely impossible, it's just hard to take something seriously.
That's the production side of things. That's like plot armor or a script.
Yeah, I was thinking more about
That's like a storytelling structure. If you've ever watched the movie and been like, oh, come on, that's so unbelievable, that's something that takes you out of the world of whatever the world you're in, right? Like, and you are reminded, hey, that someone whoever wrote that sucks, right? Like, or no, constructive criticism. It could have been better. Yeah, Nico.
I remember seeing this on Cobra Kai actually a couple nights ago. It drove me nuts. There's a scene where the two main bad guys are sitting down at a table, and they begin the scene, and there's already two cups on the desk, like two glass cups, and they're talking a bit. And the scene goes on for like 1 minute, and then it goes to another cut, and then you see a waiter come by and give them two glasses of water, the same glasses of water that were there when the scene started. And it drove me crazy because I was like, why did those waters just appear out of nowhere? And that right there, just to show up, not just to show, but the episode up to that point was very consistent. And then that happened, and you're just kind of like sitting there like, whoa, I mean, I get why they did that. They probably thought the scene with the cups in there was a better opener than without the cups, or they just forgot that the cups weren't supposed to be there. But it's moments like that that can suck you out of it. But if it's a blink and miss moment like that, because it is technically, you don't really notice the cup, it doesn't matter.
What's that called, Nico?
Continuity error.
Continuity error, right? And there's someone on set who's called what? Scripty also does what? Continuity supervisor, right? So there's someone's job on there is to be like, okay, Tim has this button opened, and then the next shot is closed, and then it's opened again. Someone's job to realize, because filmmaking is, you could film that diner scene 3 days apart, 10 days apart, 4 years apart. As well, you're just trying to make it look as real as possible, because what we know, all of us know that when you make a movie, it's actually multiple like different angles and it's different times, and not everything happened in real time. But when we're watching a movie, you don't want to think about that. You want to think about, okay, we're watching, we're watching an action scene or whatever. We don't want to think about like, oh, weird, why they shoot it that way, or hey, that's weird, they forgot this or why. Continuity errors are really common. It's hard. It's a really hard thing that people, think about Game of Thrones when they had the Starbucks cup in the background, right? Like that's a big error. Yeah, Nick.
There was another scene that I saw from Cobra Kai online. I don't watch the show, but it was one where he's like yelling at the other guy, and he has his finger like pointed in his face, and they cut to another shot, and he's walking away, and you see he's still like pointing his finger.
Yeah, I remember that.
It kind of takes me out of it.
That might be acting, well, or acting decision. Again, that's another thing that can suspend our disbelief, where it's not the story, it's not the continuity, it's the actors, the bad acting, the choice, suddenly to be talking and they go really loud, like Al Pacino and Heat or something like that. Those are all things that can suspend our disbelief. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I was watching Inglourious Basterds a couple days ago. There's a scene where they're in the restaurant or whatever, and they're talking, and Goebbels is talking to Mimir, the Emmanuel, and then they like cut all of a sudden, and Hans Landa shows up, and so it like suspends disbelief, but then it like pulls you right back in.
Sometimes that can be used intentional. Like sometimes directors like to do that. Tarantino really does emulate certain things. And that can be a deliberate punch. And I will say, you better be a master of the craft to then break the rules, right? Like there are times when we can break the rules and purposely, have the audience have a suspension of disbelief. But yeah, those are elements. Anything else that you can think of that can cause a suspension of disbelief break in something that you're watching? Too many cuts, over editing too.
Oh yes, I was just about to say this one scene is the best example of this. It's great. I remember seeing this in theaters. It was terrible. Taken 3. It was so bad. I remember
Pretty exciting though, huh?
that. Oh yeah.
Oh.
It was leaping off the screen. Oh my god. Not even Michael Bay could do something like that.
There's not enough explosions.
Yeah, exactly. Not enough explosions. Not enough.
Or Linkin Park.
Or Linkin Park. CGI robots.
So yeah, so so technical errors or technical choices can be ways. So if I'm watching the piece and I'm like, hey, they're slightly out of focus and the background's slightly in focus, do you think I am listening to what they're saying, which is the point of the piece? Or am I just thinking about why would they film it like that? Why did they use a tripod? And what, just teasing, but those are elements that like hopefully and unfortunately all of you should be thinking about moving forward is like, why were these choices made? Because the good and the bad thing about this class is it'll change how you watch stuff, but that's good because then you'll appreciate it more. Yeah.
Is something like a continuity error? Would that be like you can actually see like the boom mic in the shot, or
yes,
or like the actual equipment, or
that's a technical error.
Or like in like the old sci-fi films, you can see the strings on the spaceship.
Absolutely, those are all technical errors, which obviously tell us like when the special effects are bad and or you see a crew member or the boom microphone in the shot that, hey, this isn't real, it's a movie. Obviously there's a person with a boom microphone there, but we as the audience members don't want to think about it. Now, all of us who are in this class and taking production classes know what goes into making a film. So we have to take like the extra step of suspending our disbelief to not only be like, hey, I'm going to appreciate it as a filmmaker, but also I want to just enjoy it from a movie perspective. Because obviously we know every single shot, there's someone there, or when we're watching Planet of the Apes, we realize, hey, there's actually just a guy or a person covered in X marks and balls and stuff to represent the CG characters that'll be integrated in the piece. Where it's like most people who don't take production or don't know about these things don't even think about it. They'll be like, I'll use my mom a lot as an example. My mom will watch a movie. She has like eternal sunshine of the spotless mind because she can watch the movie, forget the movie, and then watch it again. She's watched The Sixth Sense like 3 times and is shocked by the twist every single time. I'm like, Mom, we've watched this like a year ago. And she's like, I just didn't see it coming. I'm like, how could you not? I'm not going to spoil it for all of you. You don't know the twist, but I mean,
It's a night Shyamalan.
yeah, there's twists in it. It's a twist that kind of makes the whole movie. That being said, though, it's the general audience is more, I think, like my mom than more like us who appreciate art or film or content. And how many of you have watched the movie in the last day? How many of you watched the movie in the last 3 days? Okay, the last week? The last month? All right. How many of you watched something on YouTube today? Well, we all did. We all did. It's a trick. You all watched it. Okay, so that's the point. It's like we're consuming content, and that we should be able to not only identify what's good but what's bad and what when things are created incorrectly. Even people who don't have this knowledge can have like just a reaction to it. What's another thing that could suspend our disbelief? We talked about acting, yeah.
The audio.
Audio. So this is more technical errors, but if the audio sounds bad, how many times you've watched and the microphone sounds bad, or there's pops and hisses, those are all things that can take us out. The music could take us out. If it's an annoying song, the score, and we'll watch this later on in the semester, but we'll put different music under things. And if we took, all right, this is a great example. Let's go ahead and take a look at this.
You should look at the music from what band was sticking to the page. What was that? It's like one song that plays in that movie the whole time. It's horrible.
All right, so I'm going to so what type of music was playing under the interview piece that we watched today? Huh?
There was music playing in the video.
Yeah, what type of music was playing under the interview piece? You're good. There wasn't any music. No music. But what if we add music to the piece? Would that change the vibe? Will it change the vibe? Yes is the answer. But let's upbeat and exciting hipster music. It's probably Little Mermaid. Yes. Do you want Little Mermaid to play? Okay, here we go. Let's watch the piece now again, this time with upbeat and exciting music.
Hi, this is Noah with GavTV News. I'm interviewing people on Gavilan campus. How long have you been a student here at Gav?
I've been here for over 3 years. I go to the high school at Deca, so I've been doing it all here.
Right on. What's your major? What interests you?
Marketing. I just want to get a message out there and like see how you can best promote an idea on it.
Right on. And what facilities here do you like on campus?
Okay, that's enough. What do we think of that? Does that work? The audio mix is off, so the music was much louder for educational purposes. But no, pay more attention to the music. Well, I am pointing it out too, so the music could definitely be. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You don't hear like a song with lyrics, and really, this didn't even. This just had whoa, you know, like they were singing. So let's take a look. Let's try a different music then, okay? Maybe it needed music. Christmas rock, how about that? I'm gonna work with a lot of corporate video. Okay, I'm gonna turn this one down. Let's see if my mix was the problem. Also, I want to know to all of you Premiere editors and notably, when I'm playing it from Premiere, how good does the footage look? Bad. And that is because I'm trying not to crash my computer. Remember, I talked about right here in our program window, I can control how big of image I want to watch in my preview when I play it back. So right here, I have full, half, or quarter. I always work with quarter, and that means it's rendering a quarter version of the video, which means it plays faster, but the quality is worse. That means, though, when I export the video, it's going to be full quality. It's not going to be as noisy or granulated as it looks. Watch how worse it looks comparatively, okay?
Hi, this is Noah with GavTV News. I'm interviewing people on Gavilan campus. How long have you been a student here at Gav?
By the noise, I'm like, look at the leaves, right? Like it looks all pixel.
Right on. What's your major? What interests you?
I'm gonna be majoring in.
Could be a target ad, yeah.
I just want to make sure that it's trying to get a message out there and like see how you can best promote an idea or a product. I just find it really interesting.
Right on.
We could have changed the fonts. Yeah, fonts could be something that distracts you too. But the music choice 100% could be totally distracting, right? That could be something that or bad quality audio. Those are all things can suspend your disbelief. Can you think of a movie where you're like, why they choose that song right here intentionally, or something that like ruins a scene for you because you're like, you hate the Jaws? You hate Jaws? Or, oh man, that Star Wars song is awful. Why'd they play it during this?
Those encounters.
Yeah, right. Those are good ones, right? But yeah, I'm trying to read
John Wick movie. All his music stuff. John Wick.
I'm trying to try in my mind to think about what John Wick's music sounds like. Okay. Anything else that we can think of that will suspend our disbelief?
If the suspension of disbelief becomes the belief itself due to the fact the movie is just so incompetently made that it transcends itself from the suspension of disbelief. You know, like The Room, where all of it is bad, like everything.
Okay, anybody else?
Come on. Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark. Well, I mean, that is something unto itself, and it's kind of the opposite of what we're talking about. Like, The Room is the perfect example of like doing everything wrong so that it is its own masterpiece. Like, you can't, what's amazing about The Room is you can't, if you try to intentionally do The Room, it never comes out as good. It's got to be someone who absolutely believes they're great to the point of fault, which The Room is one of the worst made movies ever, but it's good because it's bad. It's a good, bad movie.
Would you say the same thing about Troll 2?
Troll 2 is a good, bad movie, too, which is not, it's, people went out to make a good movie and they all failed, but it became a good, bad movie. So those are like, when you watch The Room, there's never a second where you're like, oh, this is actually a movie. This could actually happen.
There's been moments where I just sit there and kind of just watch the screen.
Well, you watch it and say, why?
Yeah, I mean, that is.
Why? Is mostly those instances.
You kind of wonder if Tommy was an alien. So,
Okay. So we're bringing all of these up so that you keep this in mind when you are making your pieces. Not only do you have to make your pieces, but you have to think about your GAVTV. What did we learn from our interviews here? There were a couple other things that could have been better and really didn't deal with dunking on Daniel and the camera. Who can tell me Noah has a verbal tick? What was Noah's verbal tick in this piece? Right on. Right on. Noah says right on 12 times in this piece. Right on. It's kind of like the verbal saying like, yeah, yeah. So as a presenter, if Noah was here, I would tell them that you can just nod. What's great about being, and I hope you all, part of like what we're learning here is how to be good journalists, but content creators as well. Interviewing, like this is probably the hardest thing to learn, but as the interviewer, sometimes shutting up is the best thing to do. And just sitting there and letting it be awkward. Because sometimes your interview subject, you just sit there and go,
That's the worst interview.
well, it's awkward, it feels bad, but part of it, sometimes people just talk to fill the silence. And then you don't even know how many, like, oh, I got gold, I found gold in our hills. I mean, I have done so many types of corporate and news interviews that like, my goal is to sit there and try to like, part of me, like, the evil side of me is like, can I make this person cry on camera? Because then I'll have gold, and then the piece will be better if I can get this person to cry. And sometimes it's just, oh, yeah. And depending on the piece, I didn't want anyone to cry at El Centro, but we'll see if we get any tears this semester. Okay.
like Stanley Kubrick.
When it's people, when it's people passionate about things, they have emotion, and what's the best way to tell a story is to like show emotion on the screen, that this person's so passionate about something that they're willing to like not only talk about it, but they choke up and they like really love to express. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, then I'll edit it and make it look like that. And we're going to talk about Franken edits. We're going to talk about Franken bites. Those are all fun things where we can take a piece and edit it to mean the opposite, which is how we should all consume our news and our content, knowing that anytime there's an edit, it's fake. So let's before we jump on to and go over our cameras, I want to show one more thing. This is a good opportunity to jump into our edits here. Okay, so we had our jump cut somewhere. Here, is this our jump cut? Yes.
Short roll, faster, basically.
All right, yes. And there's the audio edits that, so we hear the clipping of the audio. Listen again.
Right word here, but short roll, faster.
We hear not only the clip noise, which is we've cut in the middle of a word, that's called clipping. But that's an obvious way to show that there's an edit. But let's imagine the audio was fine and the video was just a jump cut where the person suddenly moves in their spot. How can we solve this issue? Suggestion, as an editor, as a content creator, what would we do if we had a jump cut? We had to make an edit because this person said something or
Go back in and re-edit so it's smoother.
re-edit so it's smoother. But the problem is, even if it's a great edit, let all right. So I'm just gonna make it so the audio edit is clean. And okay, check this out. All right, so we shouldn't have an audio edit issue right now.
And so FAFSA basically determined.
Do we see the edit? A tiny bit. Whoa, didn't mean to do that. Jeez. Did not mean to do that. Okay. All right.
And so.
So it's less obvious because the audio edit is not bad. The audio edit actually works, but the visual edit is a jump cut. And for those with keen eyes, they'll be like, oh, there was an edit. There is a mistake there. So how can we fix this mistake? Santi? B-roll. All right. We've talked about B-roll here. So what we're looking at right now is called A-roll. A-roll is going to be the main interview subject. B-roll is also known as cover video. When we shoot an interview like this, we need to also shoot a fair amount of B-roll so we can cover our edits. It's also a way to make things more entertaining. With our interview with Noah piece, when Noah was taught, when all of our subjects were talking about, I'm in this program or the facility should be like that, what B-roll could we put in to make it more interesting? They're talking about the student center, it could have been B-roll of the student center. Or, hey, I'm in the biology program and we see a microscope, right? Or something that says biology. So, for example, I'm going to jump into our El Centro video here in the bin. And I'm going to see that everything's offline. So why not just reconnect it really quickly? I'm going to link my media. I'm going to locate. I'm going to say okay, because all that happened was I opened it without my hard drive on. It's finding all the media. And now we can see, okay, look, here's some B-roll. Cool. Okay, so now I'm going to go and there, I'm going to cover my video right there. So now let's take a look at this edit.
And I enjoyed LA for a year. And so FAFSA basically.
So we don't see that jump. Now, the problem was our B-roll's too short and kind of abrupt. So what we could do is just make it longer. Really what happened here, let's see. Oh. If we're gonna do cover video, this is 2 seconds long. Usually 3 seconds is a great area for your brain to be able to absorb and then go back out. So maybe our clip isn't 3 seconds, but I'm just gonna drag it out to 3 seconds. Let's see if the shot holds, okay. And now we can watch it.
And I enjoyed LA for a year. And so FAFSA basically determined that I wasn't eligible for a month.
There's a little wobble at the end of the shot, which I'd probably get rid of, but that cleans up that hides our video. What's another way that we could hide this jump cut? Yeah.
If you want to do like a shorter cut, especially in something like this,
Yeah, so if this, so yeah, like a 60 minutes news program, they often will cut to the interviewer, which would have been me going like, oh yeah, good. Or it's like, like laughing at the joke or whatever, looking serious, right? Now, when they film 60-minute interviews, they would have filmed it like we filmed it, right? So our subjects is here. Ruth got up and walked out of the room, and then what we could have done was change the lighting a little bit, had me sit down in the chair, and I could have recorded that because let me tell you right now, they don't have another camera on the news anchor. They shoot all those fake after the video so that they can have edits, reaction videos, right? Well, I think what's a interesting thing is we shot with 2 cameras. So we actually can.
We're in here, and so FAFSA basically. They would tell me we're in here, and so FAFSA basically determined that I wasn't eligible for a lot of the grant.
So our edit is almost more seamless because we're just cutting from one camera to another. Now I'd reframe it a little bit so it looks a little better, just so the head axis isn't so off, but we'll see that in the final edit. So because we had 2 cameras, we have a second camera that we can cut to. But yeah, cutting to the interviewer, but again, my voice isn't in it and I don't want to be on it. That being said, which brings back to another note on our GAVTV, our NOAA interview. NOAA has the audio tick. Another thing that I would have loved was I usually like when we have a reporter go out, the reporter introduce themselves and then say goodbye at the end, which we didn't have in this piece. So all it would have been was Noah being like, hey, I'm Noah, I'm here on campus and I'm interviewing students on the first week of school about what they think of the facilities. That tells us who, what, where, when, what's going to happen. That allows us to be ready rather than just jumping in and kind of figuring out the video while going. And then at the end, well, thanks to all the students. We'll see you next time on GAVTV News. Boom. It's an intro and an outro. If you watch live TV news, that's how the reporters introduce their packages and then kind of give follow-up information at the end. It's just a way that we're going to continue to make our news programming better, our content better. Questions, comments, concerns? All right. We're going to play with the camera. I'm going to bust out some more of the Sony so that we all can play and learn autofocus and check our focus and everything. But before that, I would love it. How many of you have finished your project number 1? Great. Okay, it's due Sunday at midnight. I'd love to watch some on Wednesday, those who have done it. Also, if you need help, let's use the lab right now to work on it, okay? Because here's a perfect example. Here's another example. Now, I wanted you all to take pictures and everything, right? Okay. Okay, let's do this first. All right. Okay, I'm in Premiere. And let's say, hey, I want to do my project. So what I'm going to do is oh no, I only filmed 1 picture. All right. Here's my picture. Let's have it fit. There's my picture. In fact, there we go. So there's my picture. What framing is this? What? It's a wide shot, right? How's the framing? Well, the framing, he's in the center of the screen looking at the camera. Remember, when we're in the center of a screen, our subjects can look at the camera. In fact, that's another thing that we didn't talk about suspension of disbelief is if you ever watch a movie and someone looks at the lens that's not supposed to, like the camera's not supposed to exist. So if they look at the lens, that breaks a suspension of disbelief. Sometimes it's intentional, like Deadpool looks at the camera and talks to us, the audience members. That's intentional, but that is breaking a suspension of disbelief. It's meta because Deadpool knows he's in a movie, right? And he knows there's people watching, so he's talking to us. But when we watch news or we watch a commercial, the guy like, oh, I just spilled all this coffee on the ground. He's like, don't you hate it when it happens to you? Why? Because the subject's talking to us, the audience, because they want us to relate with like, oh yeah, I drop my coffee on the ground all the time. Well, here, the new Scrub Daddy thing or whatever I'm gonna buy, they're trying to relate to us, the audience, to buy it. So we can break the fourth wall, that can suspend our disbelief. But when your audience looks into the lens, it's telling us, hey, they know that you're watching them, or they're trying to remind us that we're watching something.
Like that scene at the end of I think Memoirs of Murder, the Korean film, where he just at the end he looks directly at the camera. Is it supposed to be the director like saying like he knows the murderer, like the real life murderer is watching the movie?
Yeah.
And, like, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, and our filmmakers can use that, but it is a way to take us. So that's the whole point, is taking us out of the movie and being like, hey, the murderer could be sitting next to you right now, right? Great film, by the way. Okay. So remember, we're also framing that we want to frame with our axis. But we're gonna so look at this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go T and I'm gonna say, or Control T gets me a text, and I'm gonna say wide. I'm gonna put this on here so that I know my instructor Tim will know that I know what this shot is. Otherwise, when we watch the videos, he might make me shout it out in front of the entire class. And I might not want to do that. All right. But you know what? I know this Tim guy, and he's going to want me to change the color probably to his favorite color. Yeah, all right. And he's going to add a stroke to it just so it stands out a little better. And we're going to make the stroke wider. Okay, cool. All right, there. And then my instructor Tim's going to be like, why would you put it right there? So I'm actually going to, you know, move its position down here and say, okay, there we go. We have our first shot. It's a wide shot. What is another shot that we need to do? MCU, Iron Man. Okay, so I'm going to take my shot and I'm going to recompose it. There we go. I'm actually going to put him on this line and this line and be like, okay, MCU, remember, chest up, MCU. And guess what? Let's go ahead and label this one too. I'm just going to copy and paste. In theory, I'm going to copy and paste. Why aren't you working? In theory, copy and paste. Nope, not going to work. What's frozen? All right. It is. Okay, there we go. So I just hit Control T and made another text layer. I'm going to call this a MCU, medium close-up of our subject, Daniel. All right. All right, and guess what? I'm going to just put this one over here. Cool. All right, we have 2 of the 7 required things. What's another shot that we need? Super close-up? Close-up or extreme close-up. Those are 2. So let's do a close-up since we're here. Not a super close-up, but extreme close-up. Think about the X Games. All right. So here we go. I'm going to actually, I don't want him perfectly centered. And the close-ups are face, right? We can frame it here. We can cut off the head in a close-up. I want my eyes on the upper third, okay? And I'm going to go Command T, make another text layer. We're going to call this one a CU, close-up. All right. All right. Now we said an extreme close-up, correct? What's the extreme close-up? Eye, like AI. It could be both eyes. It could be AI. Let's zoom in. Now remember, we're working off of one single image. I'm gonna zoom in on Daniel. Now remember, it could just be an extreme close-up on his nose or his eyes. Here we go. I'm actually, let's Let's do some cool avant-garde thing right here. All right, remember, I still want to be on the upper third. I kind of like that. All right, let's go Command T. We're going to label it what? ECU. All right. And just to get really cool, let's put it in the upper area right here. Cool. All right. What other shot do we need? An establishing shot, but let's hold on to that for a little bit later. We have our wide, remember, we have our wide, our MCU, our, how did I mess that up? Cowboy wasn't a required one, but it's a good one to know. What is the cowboy shot? Shins. Yeah, basically this up mid shin, I would say. Think of a cowboy. Okay, let's see that. How did I mess that up? Okay. Let's do that. Do this. Okay. All right, so we have our wide, our MCU, our CU, our ECU. We talked about a cowboy shot. We could do that if we wanted. Not necessary. What was the other one that we needed? Normal medium? We do need to establish a shot, but we won't do that yet.
It's like medium shot.
Medium.
Yeah.
What's the medium shot?
The MCU, but not CU.
MCU, but not CU. So just the medium. But what does that mean? Think of, remember, I've all told you this on the human body. So we have eye, face, chest up. Where does this one go? Torso. Belly button sometimes is easy to remember. Let's find Daniel's torso. Where did it go? Did I lose it? All right, let's go back to here and do that. We'll just do some editing. All right, let's go. All right, let's put him over here. All right, that's a medium shot, torso up. And we have ECU medium. Let's put it over here on Geronimo. All right. So those are all the shots that I wanted, right? A wide shot, an MCU, a CU, a ECU, and a medium shot. We know about cowboy, and we know there's other shots, Dutch angles and stuff we'll talk about. So then we have the establishing shot we need. We also need cross cutting. Can you remind me what cross cutting? It's a shot of a person. Yep. It's basically the juxtaposition of images next to each other. So it would be what we're going to do for, let's do our cross cutting. All right, let's take, I'm going to take Daniel at the MCU. We're going to go to the MCU. And what should Daniel be looking at? Okay. Of myself? Why would I use a picture of myself? That would be embarrassing. Okay, so great. Look, we put together a cross cutting. So it's essentially like Daniel's looking at Geronimo. And how do we tell that story? Well, they're all really super short. But essentially, hey, look, it's Daniel, he's looking. He sees Geronimo. And we can say, what's his feeling? Just by looking at that look on his face, kind of a neutral face, right? So we as the audience members can interpret however he is by looking at Geronimo. It would be better if Geronimo was looking, but there, that's CrossFit. Now establishing shot. What will we put for the establishing shot? Don't really know if we could use the wide shot as an establishing shot because it doesn't really establish. But what would be the establishing shot? The room, an exterior of the building, or we could do something like this. Uh-oh, there's a chat. Fresh guy fits. Oh. Okay, thank you. All right, I just wanted to make sure. I thought you're okay. What is this? Okay. So oh, cool. Let's just use this one. All right, I'm gonna save image as. Cool, images one. That's I'm sure a great name to name something. All right. And then we're gonna go to our documents, our downloads, wherever they're gonna be. Okay. All right, and now we have our establishing shot. Oh, it's nice and big, as you can tell. Cool resolution right there. Let's scroll it out. Ooh, nice and in focused. Oh, good. And I think I deleted all of my text by putting it in the wrong spot. Or did I? No, I didn't. Okay. Let's redo. All right, let's just undo this. Let's images. All right. So now we have this. I actually want to do Command T. I'm going to do this and say establishing shot. Okay. Hey, why are you doubling everything? Okay. So look, now I have my video. Now remember, I'm not judging you on how well or nice it looks, but I am showcasing that we made a video that is 6 seconds long, and it looks a little something like this. All right. Y'all ready for this? All right. Guess what? We're at really blurry Gavilan campus. It's even more blurry. Oh, okay. There's my video. Too fast. Everything's too fast, right? We can't really see anything. So before I turn this in, well, guess what? If I turn that in and you made me pause every single frame to look at it, fine. That's the point. It isn't to make a video, is the point to show me that you make the frame. So you could take a single picture and turn almost everything. Look, it took us 2 pictures to be able to make everything. But personally, since I'm making it, I'm going to make it better. And the way I'm going to make it better is I'm just going to make all the shots longer. And I can see, oh, look, they were less than they were less than a second each. So the new duration is 3 seconds. I'm just going to make everything 3 seconds long. So I'm just going to click and drag them all out so that I don't have to stop. And so my instructor, Tim, won't be like, why'd they make it all like that? It'd be like full points. This right here is 100 points right now, which all of you are going to get this week. All right. So why am I showing you me stretching this out? I'm just doing it so that also, hey, let's make it better. You know what would make it better? I don't know, music. All right. Do I have my favorite song on here? It'd be ironic if I didn't. Music. I don't think I have it. Nope. Is it a video? Maybe it's a video. I feel like I've downloaded it 100 times. Nope. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm going to add music to it. It was going to be Smash Mouth All-Star, but I don't have it. Let's choose something. What's this? Great. That's perfect. Seems like Daniel to me. All right, here we go. So now that my video is done, I have music. I'm going to set an in and out point here. I'm now going to export it. This is for everyone who might not know how to do this. File, export, export media. I'm going to just save it to my downloads, but realistically, I want to save it to my external hard drive. I'm going to name it FTVE 17 or whichever one you're in. Project 01, version 1. Okay, great. I'm going to export it. Cool, it's going to export. While it's doing that, I'm going to log into my YouTube account. We should all have YouTube accounts. If we don't have YouTube accounts, how do you get a YouTube account? Yeah, Gmail account. Log into your Gmail. Here's all my content where all the lectures go. Once you log in, you can, in fact, let's just go to YouTube. YouTube, you log in with your Gmail, it pops up here, you hit create, upload video. Now, I would have made a mistake if I just upload my video. What should I do before I upload my video? Watch it. Yeah, exactly. We should preview it, because what if I exported the wrong thing? Or what if I made an error? Or what if there was just a render issue? Let's take a look. I don't hear any music. Great. Doesn't have to have music. I don't know why didn't it export music? That's interesting. Oh, because it's on mute. So look, there we go. So if we're going to do it right, let's do it right. Let's export it again and say media. We're going to go, hey, there was a reason why I did a version 1. FTE. Let's say version 2. Great. Let's export. So now we can preview it to make sure we have our awesome music. Daniel's theme song right here. There we go. Love it. Great. All right. To get my 100 points, I'm going to upload it to the YouTube here. Again, I got to find it. I want to do version 2. And then, all right, now I'm going to name it project 1, whatever. I'm going to call it, fall, whatever I want to name it. You don't really have to do it. Fall 2025. Okay, now notably, what I want you all to know, it's not going to be made for kids. But we're gonna do all of that, and then we're gonna go to next. We're gonna go to next, go to checks, next, and then here is what's important. Everybody, private, unlisted, and public. All right, private means if you select that, you have to give me a private link and a password. Please don't make your videos private, because 95% of the time, you'll send me a private video and not give me the password. And then I'll have to say, give me the password. And then it's a pain in the butt. So why do you want it private? Private means no one can see it without the link and the password. But let me tell you, if you do unlisted, it's very hard for people to find it. But I say be bold. put your project out there for public. And what if Daniel's video right now goes viral and like gets on like TV and there's 100 million views, and then we can monetize it and we all get rich? That would be great too. I've had students turn in projects for this piece that have gotten millions of views on their final projects. Couple of them, no one in here. No shade. But yeah, Runners or Crumwick were projects for this class. So we'll watch those in the future. But I'm going to say public. You don't have to do private. If you don't do public, if you don't want it to be public, you can say unlisted. And guess what? If you're really not brave, you can wait till I give you the 100 points and you can delete that video, okay? But realistically, I want you to produce something you're proud of so that you would keep it up on your YouTube video, and maybe it makes you some money in the future. There you go, project number 1. So then once it's up, ooh, I like, you know, we can change the thumbnail, which that's kind of more of an embarrassing thumbnail. So let's go with that one. And we're gonna click, I'm gonna copy the link, and all we have to do is then go onto the Canvas and submit the link on Canvas, which, hey, we're here, might as well show. In the iLearn. We've all been to our Canvas, yes? Should be this one. And then we go down to this week, framing assignment number 1. And then I guess I have to view as a student. I'm gonna start the assignment, and then I can text entry or website URL right there. There's my link. Look at this, dude. So there we go. All right. Woo, yay. Now I'll say 100 million points. Great job. Extra credit because you have Daniel. In fact, I'll give you all 5 points extra credit if Daniel's your subject of your framing exercise. Except you, Daniel. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, just kidding. If you want it, there will be extra credit opportunity coming up. In fact, we picked the date of the showcase. So, all right. Yes. Yes, let's watch the sizzle reel before we go in. But if you want to work, where's your sizzle reel? Personal email. Hopefully, I got some. Marty? Oh. Jason, that was your invoice. Hey, lights, please. Strike the lights, please.
You can do this. I paid $10 each for these tickets, and you're going to this house class.
What's new? Sweet dreams, man.
Okay, so strike the lights, please. What I will say this, and this is open to all of you. I love watching stuff, especially stuff you're working on, especially not necessary for this class. If you have any projects you want to come and have me watch with the captive audience, you can send it to me and we'll take a look. So Marty, Jason, Santi, this is a sizzle reel. So what is, and Daniel? So what this is a sizzle reel, which is basically a trailer for all of the pieces of work that they've worked on. And they're showing me this. What is the goal of the piece?
To be able to show the certain skills or genres that we have worked on, the certain visuals that we've achieved.
To make money. So their goal is to show this to people, to be like, look how awesome we are. Yeah. You should hire us because we can make films. What? Remember or constructive criticism? Thoughts? Positive, good. You know, you can say that was cool, or you can say I am confused. A lot of us have worked on a lot of these things, so we're really familiar with it. I'm interested in audience members who might have watched it and been like, what the heck? Yeah. Yeah.
I do like how, yes, that's the same thing, it shows the diversity of the genres that,
Yeah.
we're doing.
So yeah, to talk to your point, I really think the music is what is, because even though we're having these funny moments and lines from the comedies, it's still the epic, dun, 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 which is like telling us as the viewer, like, hey, this is supposed to be epic. It's supposed to, everything here should be cool and should be the coolest shot we have in the movie.
Only, I guess technical that I didn't know is for the widescreen stuff. I would expand it to the 16:9 because the aspect ratio does.
It's been some.
So what this means is where for which there was letterbox bars, basically comparative to, it's most jarring going from like a super widescreen to like Boss Baby, right? So I think most notably it's the Boss Baby going from here to there. And yeah, I was gonna suggest maybe crop.
Yeah.
I think you're missing a lot of your cooler shots, to be honest, especially from Siren Song.
That's definitely something that I'm open to because I've looked through it a couple of times of different stuff, so I'm probably. So like what shots with Siren Song?
Underwater looking up.
You are probably the last person who so like some of us.
Yeah.
These are favorite shots from the release.
I think there could be better shots from Home, my darling.
It's tough because it's split screen.
Yeah.
And then composition wise of where your eye is guided by the edit. It's like you have someone talking on the right side and then all of a sudden.
What else? New viewers. Yeah, what do you think?
I like that one actress that's in like 3/4 of those.
The Sierra is definitely in a lot of the pieces, right? And when you watch our Gav showcase, you'll note that we are low, no budget filmmaking. So we are, and when we find a good actor, they're going to appear in a lot of the pieces, right? And if they're willing to act for virtually free or not, a lot of our actors repeat. So Yeah, when you watch the showcase, you'll be like, oh, look, this is another, yeah, another Andre film or another Sierra film or, but that's where we're limited here. So, I mean, it helps in a sizzle piece like this because it shows the diversity on it.
Sierra.
Yeah, Sierra, right? I know. Any other notes as first-time viewers? I don't think you need the text up the whole time.
Yeah, so when do you think I should cut off the
As
text?
soon as you introduce them once, no one's gonna be like, hey, is that the witch or is that hard to hear? It's like, yeah,
Just based off the color grading.
yeah.
Yeah, I was just trying.
I just don't think it matters. Like when you put a font on it, the font distracts from everything because you read the text.
Yeah.
And the whole time, also, don't put all the text in the same spot. Like you can move it around.
So do you think I should just completely eliminate the text, or do you think it, because watching other sizzle reels, they haven't used text on of what the movie they're showing or anything like that, so.
Well,
it's just-
for
that I've seen, they make the text a lot smaller and not focused. Like
it shouldn't be the focus. It shouldn't care. And if you're gonna do the text, you should be like best picture winning The Witch or The Witch or by Martin Silent, The Witch by Martin Silent, or showcase that like, yeah, what awards, because honestly, no one's gonna be like, whoa, unless they've seen the piece, they're not gonna be like, oh, this is Witch, like no one's gonna know the names, right? Like it's really to showcase the genres and the imagery, right?
No.
How do we feel about the link? Yeah.
I was gonna add into that, I think with the smaller text, it's gonna be a lot easier well, lengthless was kind of cool, but with smaller text, I think it just kind of fit everything a lot better, switching between everything, because it's there, but it's not taking up 3/4 of the screen, a quarter of the screen.
Yeah.
So
It's not this, I mean, it is just, the text is always gonna be a distraction, but if it's smaller, you can like see it. Honestly, that is fine if it's like, you only use it once when you introduce the movies and then move on from there.
Well, I was like thinking like there's too many movies that have a big emphasis on the text.
Yeah, I mean, with it up the whole time, yeah. It's like you were just making us pay attention to the edits. Hey, look, all of these are edited because it's changed the movie, I think. Those are good notes. Anything else? 1:30. Feels like it's cut to the music, not cut to the.
I actually cut down a song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's probably about a quarter of it cut out. So what is it at? Is it 2 minutes or is it?
2:12 right now.
So you think?
I think you could lose 30.
Okay.
A little redundant at points, and maybe just focus on the cooler shots.
Yeah.
Dynamic and varied shots, right? Like obviously the special effects are important. I think less of seeing David Butterfield's head explode, but maybe less of the viscera at the end, because that's the part where it looks especially fake. Is where I would cut. I would choose, like, I don't know why you would pick that shot of Noah from Siren Song when you have the shot of Noah looking in the camera with the two separate lights. That's like the best shot.
I don't
but,
remember where that is all the time. Yeah,
so
I do remember cutting that to put it into this, but I didn't use it.
I'm going to tell you right now, and it's going to bother me anytime you use a shot that has stuff on the lens.
That's sequels.
No, right.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
okay,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. This is a seagull, everybody. Hey, so watch this right here. This is the only thing I see in this shot. Oh, look at that seagull that's perfectly flying. Not, sorry, I shouldn't be mean to you. That Jason in Sunday classes. I won't be mean to you, I promise. But
yeah,
you could fix that in post too. In fact, that's gonna be one of the notes for Siren Song is like, if you want to keep that shot, I'm gonna challenge you to throw away every bad shot.
Okay.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's,
When you're shooting out in the middle of the ocean.
yeah, when you're shooting in the ocean, it's
and
hard.
you're looking at a screen
Yeah.
about that big, it's a lot.
But what did we learn from it?
Spit on the lens.
Well, you didn't learn anything because you guys won first place, so, whatever, Tim, we got the money, it doesn't matter. Yeah, well, you don't have it yet, but you earned it. So you will get it. TIM, yeah. All right, let's go into our lab. For those of you who want to do your framing exercise, I can work with you right now. Otherwise, what we're gonna do is we'll play around with the Sonys. You can zoom in and play with all the pieces. I'm gonna pull out more of the Sonys that we have here, but you can feel, oh, I didn't talk about this. Tripod, use the tripod when possible. How can we, if we have to handheld, let's say I don't have a tripod, how can I make myself more stable? There's not a stabilizer button in the camera. What'd you say? Put your camera to the chest. So our tripod notably is a pyramid, right? And who knows what the strongest shape in the world is structurally? A triangle. Triangle is the strongest shape. It's the hardest to break. So our tripod is 3 triangles, which make a pyramid. Here's 1 triangle, 2 triangle, 3, actually 4 triangles at the bottom too. So if we use our body to create a 3-point shape, we can stabilize it better. So what I like to do is, hey, if I just hold my one hand up, right, that's going to just rely on my one hand. So how can I make a triangle? 2 hands. All right, now I have a point, and I have elbows, which I can put against my body and hold the camera, which will give me the ability to hold it more steady. Now, there's different ways you can do it. We can actually put it onto your shoulder and do the 3 points. Look, 1, 2, 3. I could put it into my chest like that, right? 1, 2, 3. 3 points will make it more stable. Also like to kind of stand wide and bend my knees. I'm going to bend my knees because you ever see a video where the soldiers like stand with their knees straight for too long, and eventually your body just fall over, right? It happens at apparently happened a lot for Deal or No Deal. The models with the cases would fall over all the time just from standing still. So bending your knees. A camera person is a physical job. It's also a job that is grueling, is taxing on your body. I have rotator cuff issues from holding my camera. Who knows what the #1 injury for a camera person is? Hernia, yeah. Hernia from picking up the tripod, from picking up the thing. Lift with your knees, not with it, and keep a tight core, you'll be okay. I'm just telling you all this because you're young, and I wish my knees and my shoulders felt better. Okay, so 3 points. 1, 2, and 3. Or 3. Just even putting the second, having the 2 points will make your cameras be more stable. Now, I can hold it stable for a minute, but if I'm filming that 15-minute interview we did with Ruth, this isn't going to feel fun. This is going to feel like a survivor challenge, right? Like 15 minutes into having to be as still as possible, you start realizing, oh, my back feels hunched, and or, oh, that hurts, especially me who is old. Okay, let me grab batteries and I'll grab some cameras. Otherwise, as always, you're welcome to stay as long as you want for lab, or you're open to leave and go work on your projects, but lab is, we're going to play with the cameras. Get some more. Okay. Who wants to play with the camera? Come and grab it. First come, first serve. We all have opportunities. There's 3 of them right here. Couch. These are our studio cameras. You can see. Let me grab a battery. Feel how heavy they are. They're kind of a middle of the road camera. Play? Here. Put your battery on. Okay, so here, let me show you. Okay, so notably, those of you right here on the back are cameras. Here's our camera batteries, and they plug into the back. Put them up top and then slide down so it clicks. Now note there's a battery release button right here. You already have battery in, it looks like. So if you push the battery release button, it's gonna pop, and then put your finger down here, push the button, and then push up. So your battery comes out. We have plenty of batteries here. I'm gonna push it in. Now notably on these, right here is our on button. Right here. Right here on this side. You need to click it forward. So it's the line. It's just like a circuit. So a circle means it's off, line means it's on. And then we know that we will open up the viewfinder right here. And come out here. Okay, what are we seeing? We're seeing the display and everything right here. That's telling us, but what are you seeing? Nothing. Why aren't we seeing anything? Well, it's because the lens hood is on. This is not a lens cap, it's a lens hood. And notably, yours is open. But look, there's a switch right here. Open, close. And we can see right away that our viewfinder is now seeing something. So notably on the screen, in fact, let me just walk over this. All right, hey Zoom, we're going. Goodbye. All right. Let me just showcase this for a second, and then I'll let you have it. All right. Okay, turn off. Feedback, right? So we're hearing the speaker go through the. It's basically infinity loop. We can check. Okay. All right. The mic is bouncing in there. Okay. All right. I want to show the display. Where's the display button? Right, hold on. Let's see. Okay, there we go. And then display. Okay, hold on. Menu. Okay. And I'll watch each other. Okay. Volume. All right, well. Okay. I'm not gonna waste my time in showcasing this right now. So, everybody look. Our viewfinder right here. Notably right there, we can see that it's moving up and down as I talk. This is our audio. Okay, the audio right here. So the audio right here, we're only seeing one is bouncing. There's two possibly there. Number one means there's only one microphone plugged in. So if we plugged in another microphone, there would be two. You should have, yep, you can see your audio bouncing right there. Next to it, we can see that auto everything is on. So that means auto, we have our shutter speed, we have our gain, and we have our f-stop. We'll talk more about that in the future. ND flashing is off. That's our neutral density filter. If we go outside, those will be our sunglasses. Up on the top is our time code. It's flashing no tape right here on the camera. This is where our media would go. We're not playing around with media right now, but you need SD cards to go in here. You need fast enough SD cards to keep up. Yeah, that's a good, that's but do I have an SD card that I can showcase? Yes, I do. All right. So SD cards are like this. All right. And they would go in here. I'm not going to put them in here because it's my private SD card and I want to use it. Okay. All right. Which fell off of my mic right here. Who knows what this is called? It's a windsock. What's the other name for it? The dirtier name for it. Well, that's not the dirty one. Yeah. Dead cat. Huh? Not a mic condom. This is called a wind muff. Also. Muff. Not used as much anymore, but a dead cat is more of the fuzzier one. It basically reduces wind noise. A dead cat, a wind muff, or a wind sock. Those are ones that can be used. Also, notably on here, we can see that it has the codec that it's recording in. So that's telling us the frame rate and everything. And also the battery life, how much battery we have. Those are all things to note. Our record button is either on top or near your thumb right here to click. If I hit record, it's not going to go because I don't have media in it. Those are the notable things to play with. Oh, also the thing to note right here is that the hammer, the trigger right here, this controls the zoom. You should all see on the video here. Just make it easier here. All right, we can see zoom in, zoom out, zoom in. Oh, who am I texting? Zoom out, zoom in, zoom out. Okay, what's notable about the zoom ring here is it's, look and see it's actually fairly, so if I pull it all the way down, it zooms in about as fast as that, right? Or it zooms out about as fast as that. Or what I can do is I can barely touch it and I can actually do a nice slow zoom in. Slow zoom, right? But look, my handheld, notably too, guess what? When I zoom in and I handheld it, because it's zoomed in, it's way more noticeable than the shake. Rather than if I'm all the way zoomed out, you know, the shake is a lot less noticeable. It's because there's more things to focus on. The more we're zoomed in, the more notable the shake or the wobble is going to be. All right. Also, note that the rings are here too. So look, I can actually manually zoom in and zoom out using the zoom ring, which is the secondary ring. The first ring now will say like, hey, look, I see auto, everything's on. And if you have this yellow button on, it means full auto. That means everything is in auto mode. So if I turn off auto mode, look, instantly what happens? Well, look, auto mode, not auto mode. Auto mode, not auto mode. Oh, look, we're doing the do, Marty. Auto mode, do the do. All right. By the way, try the new Mountain Dew from Taco Bell. Mountain Dew Midnight? Baja Midnight? It was like a bad berry. It was no good. Okay, so what's happening here is we've turned off auto white balance, which means the combination lighting is throwing it off. So I would have to go in here and switch my white balance, which is one of the buttons here, which there, now I turned it to auto white balance, so you can see it's better, but manual, and we'll go into white balance in the future. Other things to note is gain. Looks like auto gain. Auto gain. So what gain is added light. So this is at 0 gain. So that means gain is like digital assisted lighting. What's good about digital assisted lighting? We can bring it up. In a low level light like we have right now, this is as much gain as I can give. What do we notice about this image with full gain? It is very loud. What is loud image mean? I don't hear any audio. What does loud mean? There's a lot of noise, right? Where's noise? The fuzzy, yeah. So all right there, what is happening is we crank can you see how the wall is like almost moving, even though, look at behind our subjects, near the wires, do you see how the image is almost like there's bugs or something into it? Yeah, that's called noise. And what that means is that is dark according to the camera sensor, but we're using gain to pump it all the way up, which is we're digitally inserting light. And the way that the camera is a computer, and the way that it translates every images are with ones and zeros. And so because we're cranking so much up, the computer doesn't know if this is dark or light. So it's actually pulsating between two different values of the image, and that's what makes it go. So should we use a lot of gain? No, not really. I mean, but if we don't use gain, then it's dark. So how can we fix this? Add more lights. Yeah, absolutely. Or we would light the scene, right? If it's too dark, we would add light so it wouldn't be grainy. Yeah, external light, right? Because this is digital light. It's like post-production, right? What happens if we take that little image of Gavilan College, but we bring it all huge, right? It gets all grainy, right? Because there's not enough information. That's what's happening right now if you use too much gain. And then gain, white balance, shutter speed. The shutter speed is how many images a second it's taking. You can make it up or down depending on your light level. You should always be double what you're shooting for. So that's like 30 for 30 or 60 is kind of the sweet spot. But if we go higher, it gets darker. That means we have to gain more. And look, our image gets darker. So with more level of light, we can up the shutter speed, or we can lower the shutter speed. This is as low as it goes. What can we notice if we have 8 shutter speed? It lets in a lot more light, but what's happening? Oh man, I drank too much Mountain Dew. Basically, too much shutter speed is we're taking 8 frames per second. Normally, we will look at something that's 24 frames per second. So 8 frames per second means we're slowing it down, and the digital has to fill it in. So we're getting a blur effect. So let's up the shutter speed if you want to do drunk. I'm going to do drunk POV vision. Maybe I'll do this to simulate what's it like to be drunk.
Sorry, I missed how to adjust shutter speeds on the button. It goes to full 30 and then it goes to auto.
Okay, once you go to where it's white and highlighted, then there is this trigger right here at the end. You can go up or down. So here is shutter speed, right? And then at the end, there's a knob that's either up or down. Okay. So, but then I'm going to go back to 30. And yeah, that's all we're going to play with today. To play and get comfortable, you can also put it on a tripod if you want to play with the tripod.
Did you go over white balances and I missed it?
Oh, we'll talk about white balance in the future.
Okay.
But essentially, what white balance is every camera is different. So white balance is referring to color temperature. So if we look up at our lights, we can see that the LEDs versus, say, if I turn this light on, LED versus halogen lights, they have different temperatures. Also, have you ever seen a video where you shoot it inside and then you walk outside and then everything is blue or everything is orange? That's because your camera is color balanced to outside. So the two main color temperatures are 56K and 32K. So that's like indoor and outdoor light. 56K is the Kelvin temperature for sunlight. Sun is the biggest source. And if we open this, use your auto balance and see what happens when I open this. I'm letting in our environment, which would be a more warm orange light, now we're letting in cool blue light from the sun. This is actually, your auto balance is gonna try to figure out in between what to do with, but even if you're on full auto, you'll notice that it's gonna shift a little bit because we have what's called combination lighting. And even if you look at the zoom right there, you can see that the light is so bright from outside versus inside that it's completely blown out on the zoom on my camera on my laptop. This is just because the sun is the greatest source of light in our universe, in our world. And it is always going to be, if we brought down the shutter speed, you ever watch a video? Turn off, see it. You ever watch a video and notice that, hey, they're outside, but the sky is completely white instead of blue? That's because everything's blown out. And that means that it's taking in too much light, and it's trying to compensate by making it white rather than blue. So you have to close down your shutter, have to put an ND filter probably on. Feel free to, if you want to walk outside and see what it looks like through the camera, I'm totally happy opening the door because it's going to give you a different feel as well. But we're going to stay around the studio. And also share, if you want to touch the camera, that's your opportunity. We'll take turns and just see how it changes. Yeah, right. So it's still, you still have your shutter speed on auto, and your gain on auto. So you make those all manual. So let's do shutter speed. Okay, now it's manual, and let's do manual. Now, that's all manual. So look, everything's completely blown out, right? So it means you have to like bring your shutter speed. You have to definitely don't want any gain on. The gain is increasing your light level. Were you asking me a question? Yeah. 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 That's fine. You can send, I prefer you send it to me in Canvas. So I can grade it that way. That's fine. You can also email it to me, but there's a Canvas app. Really? Yeah. On my account. Oh, on your Canon? Well, no, on your phone. I thought you were talking about. No, you have actually, I take it all like. You can absolutely, yes, you can email me.
So I take it all on my.
Yeah.
It's fine, we go.
So,
Yes.
like a,
Yes. Yeah, the dog proportions make sense.
yeah, this is like a medium photo.
Yeah, because the dog doesn't really, it's fun when you choose a different character
Yeah.
because it has to be like, okay, where would the waist on the dog be proportionally?
Is that like big enough for a light shot?
See the whole dog, light shot, that's a cowboy dog. That's better, yes, light shot, yes. Ooh, and cross cutting with your dog would be fun, because it's a close up your dog, bone or squirrel.
Yeah.
And then back.
Yeah,
Or
first,
whatever you're
but this one's not gonna work. So my first idea was like a picture.
Perfect.
Oh, really?
I love that. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard to see. It's the only one I got. It's so fast. But
Poor dog's like, why you shoot me peeing?
So is it?
All right, I'm gonna stop the Zoom.
I was gonna say, is it